Peter Schiff, the American stockbroker, financial analyst, and radio host, warns us about what is coming in the future. After seeing what happened in the pension funds in the UK, this shouldn't surprise the US. The US pension funds and insurance firms have a leveraged bond portfolio, but this exposes the entire nation surviving off of cheap money. The US has built an entire economy based on debt and inflation, and now you can't just turn it off. You can't have a foundation of debt and inflation, build a whole phony economy on top of it, and then remove the inflation. If you take away the flow of cheap money from the Federal Reserve, think about all the businesses that would have never launched or gone out of business. You know that everything implodes and that jobs follow along with it. We've had tremendous malinvestments over the past decade when insurance rates were artificially low. We haven't made enough investments in actual plant equipment. Instead, all we've done is spent borrowed money on speculation and funded crazy ideas, one of which, regrettably, is cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. All of this is a bad investment. All these businesses operating in the cryptocurrency industry are failing. All of it will implode because it is nothing more than a bubble. And many tech companies will also implode because we didn't follow the correct procedures because of the Fed, other central banks, and governments. The Fed does not have the stomach for that. Just as they bailed out everyone in 2008, just as they did again in 2020, they're going to do it again whether it's 2022 or 2023. But this time, it won't work because I believe the dollar will die this time. This could be an overdose of the stimulus that might lead to the dollar's death, perhaps even lead to a sovereign debt crisis, and nobody can then get bailed out. The public can't pay off this debt with taxes, so the government's only options are default or inflation, and in both cases, bondholders will lose money. However, when the Fed makes another U-turn and the balance sheet increases again, people will know that there will never be a shrinking of the balance sheet when the Fed has to make another about-face, and the balance sheet will go up again when the Fed goes back to quantitative easing. The markets must now readjust to the fact that the balance sheet will continue to grow and inflation will be a problem for the foreseeable future, for a while at least. While high inflation is not good, you can adapt to it. In Argentina and other countries, this is a common problem, and the markets there have adjusted. Because they have been funding their spending with inflation, politicians lack the political will to take action. This is how all of these deficits are paid for, and we don't see Congress and the Fed taking the necessary action. If we have a real crisis, if we start to see the dollar implode, long-term interest rates soar, we start to see a society completely collapse due to shortages, price controls, or power outages, and people riding in the streets may act morally then. What is happening in the real world proves how weak consumers are, which the Federal Reserve and everyone else wants to ignore. The Biden administration wants to ignore it and pretend that the economy is strong, despite the overwhelming evidence from the real world that suggests otherwise. The only indication that the economy is robust is the fact that the unemployment rate is still low. There are many open positions, and numerous businesses are advertising for workers, but things can change very quickly. Many businesses that advertise needing new employees can quickly decide they don't. Companies seeing a significant profit decline may be looking to lay off some of their current employees to reduce costs. They don't want to hire more employees, significantly as wages are rising. But once more, it's not just customers spending less because the cost of goods has increased. Costs are going up, and to make matters worse, the stock market has collapsed. They must reduce their consumption due to their declining net worth and the rising cost of living. You can see what kind of financial strain consumers are experiencing. How much more proof do you need that the economy is in a slump? Whether the Fed wants to admit it or not, many businesses will be looking to batten down the hatches and try to weather this recession. I believe that many companies are already experiencing a lot of turbulence, so they'll do what they can, even before the landing, to get rid of any excess baggage they can. This means that the soft landing will be pretty bumpy. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more content. See you in the next video. Till then, take care.